The tiny East Asian country of Brunei has just decided to fully adopt Sharia law. It's an oil-rich country with just 412,000 people, and the Sultan of Brunei, anytime you have a sultan, you might want to rethink the way your government works, announced the decision recently. His name is Hassan al-Bolkiah. They say, quote, "The Islamic criminal law is set to include punishments such as flogging," how very 12th century of you, "dismemberment, and death by stoning for crimes such as rape, adultery, and sodomy." So they're going to stone gay people to death. Understand that. All right? If you cheat on your wife or if your wife cheats on you, they will stone you to death. This is what's actually in Sharia. Now, furthermore, only about 70% of the country is Muslim, but the law applies to everyone, so it's going to affect a bunch of Christians and a bunch of Buddhists as well. And needless to say, this is expected to increase violence against women and children, and people are going to be forced to do things as personal as change the way they dress, and they have to dress in line with Islam. So this is a disastrous thing that just happened. I'm not sure how many countries even exist right now that have Sharia anyway. Maybe Saudi Arabia, loosely. I don't know if they're as rigid in their belief in Sharia or their implementation of Sharia, but they do abide by it to a certain extent, that's for sure, because they're way behind the times. Women aren't allowed to drive. They have to cover their bodies at all time. They can't be in public without a man. Just all this craziness. And when I was reading this story, something hit me about U.S. foreign policy. See where I'm going with this? All the arguments we ever use about invading other countries and starting wars and, well, we had to do it. Saddam Hussein is a terrible guy who was repressing people and killing people, and he had a very barbaric system in place, right? Or Afghanistan, we have Al-Qaeda there, we have the Taliban. The Taliban wants to implement Sharia. Obviously, we need to go in there and get revenge for 9/11 and prevent Sharia from taking over via the Taliban. Well, wait a second. If you actually cared about doing what? Remember, they always say this. Protecting freedom and democracy around the world. That's the main argument they use for American imperialism, right? We're the world policemen. We need to do it. We need to protect freedom and democracy. Well, where's the conversation? I don't hear you. I hear fucking crickets right now. So Brunei is going to implement Sharia, and I haven't heard a single peep out of any elected Democrat, any elected Republican, or anybody from the executive branch. Not the Secretary of State, not the Secretary of Defense, not President Obama. Nobody, not even Joe Biden. Nobody has made a peep and said, hey, maybe we should go in there and try to stop that real quick. And by the way, how quickly could we, if we wanted to, get rid of the government of Brunei? We could do it on a Tuesday before brunch. One Scud missile, and it's like, okay, all right, they're liberated. You want to go get something to eat now? Now, look, am I actually advocating for toppling the government of Brunei? No, that's not what I'm doing. You guys know I'm a committed non-interventionist, which means the only time I think we should use the American military is when we're about to be attacked, when there's fear of imminent attack against us. Outside of that, I don't think it's fair to ask people to go and fight and die. I like to look at it like this. When would I decide to pick up arms to defend my country? And it's, oh, we're about to be attacked. So I use that same standard for everybody. I mean, we shouldn't just nonchalantly fight all these different things. But the point that I'm making is the standard that we set is not real. You know, the stuff that they tell us as to why they're going to war, it's not actually the reason why they go to war. There's always other considerations, whether it's natural resources or it's taking care of our own corporations, or it's the military-industrial complex. There's always something going on behind the scenes, and just the idea that we're protecting freedom and democracy and we want to protect against barbaric systems like Sharia, it's not true, because if it were true, we'd be talking about invading Brunei right now, and we're not.